started as a trance night, and I think it's probably fair to say that we've all got a very different interpretation of what trance is. And, you know, I mean, for instance, you know, you're very classics orientated.
Is he? Really?
Yeah,
Sure.
I've heard a rumour. He's played a few classics. Yeah.
But then you have to imagine is that all I wanted to do was start playing.
Yeah.
So I haven't played them all yet.
Yeah.
So once I start playing them all, I'll move on. So I mean,
you know, whereas you know, my sort of approach to music has always been very forward thinking in terms of, like, you know, that's the sort of sound I enjoy. And I think when we first started, the sort of difference in terms of what we all considered to be trance could have caused a lot of problems, but I think one of the ways we've approached Yanji Beats is, don't get me wrong, the music is incredibly important, but I think the biggest aim of Yanji Beats is to kind of create a community and a vibe, because if you can get that right, then the sort of the musical components of it kind of just naturally take care of themselves anyway. And one of the things I think that Yanji Beats sort of does really well is the sort of Yanji fam.
yep.
And having a crowd of people which are sort of regulars. You know, we've rewarded people which came to every gig during our first year.
Yep.
With sort of lifetime free entry. You know, and there's a lot of people out there that go to a Yanji Beats gig, not necessarily now because of the music. You know, I mean, they know that we all know what we're doing. They, you know, but they kind of, it's almost become a community where people can kind of meet up, and you know, age isn't a sort of barrier. You know, we've got some, you know, veterans that come along to our events. You know, and every event we come to, we sort of see new people that are younger, sort of, you know, sort of teens, 20s coming in and sort of going, wow, what is this? And, you know, I think that's fantastic that we overcame the, you know, the sort of the musical differences amongst our group by creating sort of a family of followers.
Yeah, I think we use them to our strengths as well. Like, there's certain nights that are curated to be more of the deep proggy stuff. There's certain nights that are created to more of the hardcore, hard trance stuff, and then, you know, we obviously shift around our sets to accommodate for that, which I think works really well.
But I think, just adding on to that, I think something that's very important to probably note as well is we all come from that older generation where it used to be club nights progressed. So I think there's a lot of, I've been to a lot of events, and I'm sure you guys are the same, and it's, the sound just stays the same for the whole night. Whereas I think what we do very well, which is why people like coming to our events, is the sound changes over the night. So you get somebody like yourself that opens up with, you know, 125, 126, and then by the end of the night you're hammering out like 140, 140 plus. So I think just having that variety between us, and we've all spoke about the fact that we can all play any of those spots because we all have a love for that whole spectrum of music. I think that's why it works really well.
It's like a whole journey.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a test.
This is a test.
This is a test. This is not a live stream. This is a test. It's a test.
This is a live behind the scenes
Yes.
coverage of YangeCast Beats HQ.
Yes. This is what we do. This is we are Thursday night. Hopefully everyone's got their tickets for Tunes for Charity for Hannah's house tomorrow.
$10 Get
$10
amongst it.
$10. Or for English people, it's probably about what?
£6.
£6. £6. There's also a link down here as well to donate as well, somewhere here. Anyway.
You can't copy and paste.
You can't copy and paste.
You gotta type it in, man.
We have put that in the Facebook thing. So this is for tomorrow night. This, as I said, this is a test. This is definitely not
the real thing.
The real thing.
I mean, I'm listening to the real thing.
You are,
right
yeah.
now. Like,
yeah.
It's gonna be fucking balls.
How are the tunes going?
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking savage, right?
So you got Sun and Moon in there?
Of course. I've got 6 different remixes of Sun and Moon just for Chris.
Lots of Sun and Moon. Whole set.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Is it? Yes. Yeah, no Sun and Moon. Definitely no Sun and Moon. Anyway. Is there anything else we need to say?
Bring your mates.
Bring your mates.
Bring your best form, and let's have a fucking great time.
Yeah, bring your
Raise some
family.
money for a fucking amazing cause.
Yes. Yep.
Amazing cause. I actually went to Hannah's house today to pick up a couple of things and had a chat with them, and amazing people. So lovely. What they're doing is just incredible. So come along and help us out and help us help them do a great thing for some amazing young people that are really struggling. So yeah.
And some people from Hannah's house will actually be there.
Yeah, there's probably a few of them there. Yeah.
Yeah. And also trance everywhere. Just spattered everywhere.
Yeah, and it's my birthday next weekend,
Yes.
and I'm not drinking for it, so my drinks for it are tomorrow. So
Yes.
if you want to have a drink with me for my birthday, you have to come tomorrow.
I will be drinking on his birthday
I
though
will.
next weekend. He's just not. So. Anyway,
Keep her lit.
keep her lit.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Tunes for charity was like, you know, and it felt weird for us as well because we were suddenly then making money and people were coming to our events. It just felt alien to us. So we were like, oh, you know,
Because we never started Yanji Beats as a like money making enterprise. It
Like
was
just delinquents who like
No,
trends.
and now look at it.
Techno on the side.
yeah.
you know, and probably following on from our youth sailing charitable donation.
Yeah, you got the bug for charity.
Which was forced.
Yes. Yeah,
and probably do a little bit of good.
Yeah, and like Craig lost his sister to brain tumour when she was young, and I remember Craig was like, you know, I'd really like to sort of find a local kids charity and sort of like raise some money for that. So we were like, well, you know, instead of people coming in for free, we'll just charge them and we'll just donate it all. Went back to the sewing rooms, which was always, that gig was always known for the fire alarm. So, but we get to that point. So, so I guess at this point, I think it was again, we went back with after the second sewing rooms, we went back to the original crew again. I think, it was us again.
Yeah.
Brad was probably away.
I was away.
He was away, yeah. It was a really, really good night. And I remember we managed to get hold of a laser. And like I remember at that point in time, Scully was like, I want to be involved in Yanja Beats. And he goes, maybe I'd learn to like be a DJ. And I was like, I don't think you've got enough.
That's where DJ Skomatos was born.
Yeah. But then I was like, well, you're really smart. Like your side hobby's flying and stuff like that. Why don't you go out and get your laser license? So he went out and got his laser license. Got this laser. We sort of like bolted it to the ceiling. So obviously with that, I remember I think they either had a smoke machine there or Geffen, or we hired one from Geffen.
It was Geffen.
Yeah, because didn't you wreck it?
Yeah.
Didn't you put the wrong liquid in or something?
No, that was Blaze.
Sorry, that was.
Yeah, but that was the same smoke machine when it worked.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, always make sure you put oil or water based in.
Just before we get on to the sort of the visual production effects of Tunes for Charity, I just want to take it back quickly to obviously Hannah's House, we reached out to, Craig reached out to them. I think they were a bit confused.
Yeah.
As to who we were and why we were sort of, it was, and Craig had obviously explained what we were trying to do. But I remember some ladies from Hannah's House, after they'd given us permission to sort of use their name to sort of, raise money.
Thank you.
I remember they said, a couple of us will come down.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whether they did any research into us.
It's not quite what I thought it was going to be.
I think on the night they kind of sent their apologies.
We don't want your money.
And they're like almost like, who are you and why are you giving us money? But look, amazing to do something for charity. I opened a night. For a change.
It just seems to be your standard set.
And I also think that the other bit that we're forgetting what happened was there was a lockdown the week before.
That's right.
So Mark McGowan obviously put us into lockdown maybe for the first time for a while. So at one point...
It was like a taxi driver had tested positive.
And I remember thinking, oh no, we're not going to go ahead with this. And I remember... Craig come up with the idea. He must have got some sort of AI tool, or I don't know if it was.
I remember this. The video.
That?
Yeah,
and he had
that was actually
Mark
pretty good.
McGowan talking. Yeah. It was like, choose for charity, go.
You know what I mean?
And therefore, Yange Beats, Tunes for Charity, is a go.
And I remember, because Chris was really good. He was like, we should have T-shirts for every single gig, and I remember at the start, obviously,
they're actually my favorite. I like those ones.
It's getting small now.
I think we're spending more on T-shirts per gig.
It's the camera,
than we were making. So at the start, we were making a T-shirt for every event, weren't we? You know what I mean? And but I remember we all got Mark McGowan T-shirts, didn't we? I remember as also the night went really, really well. Everyone was really enjoying it, and
it's in your mind, I know you can define it. Take your figure and your speech, wasted are united. Dreams manifest years, the place is fake or final. The space we are, the space we were, the face we are, the face we were, the space we are. Space we were, the face we are, the face we were, the space we are, the space we are, the face we are, the face we were, the space we are, the space we were, the face we are.
I think we'd opted for an earlier start, hadn't we? Rather than go from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. We said we'll go from 8.
Did we do it? Was that where? Did I warm up at Prince Lane? Was that the same event?
No, that was
we're coming to that one.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
No, this was running from 8 p.m. till 3 a.m. Which you're going to have less people in at the start, but it kind of finishes at a more palatable time for people of our age.
Seniors.
I actually love every time I speak to people about our events. It's always like, no, you'll like it because it's an older crowd. The average age is probably 30 to 50, maybe in and around that.
Yeah, and I remember when Craig and I was talking about sets, and I sort of said, "Oh look,
sets."
Sets. And I was like, I'll do the first 40 minutes. And I said, look, I think we went on from 12 till 3. And I just said, I'm just going to go full throttle for 40 minutes and just like literally throw everything I can at them and just hope that they stay.
To say, other than strap in, because shit's going to get fucking real shortly. So thank you guys, keep her lit and enjoy the next 2.5 hours of absolute fucking banging shit. Keep her lit. Let's go.
bouncy banging sort of, you know, but with other stuff sort of thrown in.
I remember I put a Ben Nicky Ayana remix in. I remember Craig went out and got a skydive. Remember Cosmic Gate did a skydive remix or something like that? Yeah. So, and I remember he got it for me on CD, and it came the day before the event, so I ripped it and put it on like that. But I remember we set Scoey up on a Bunnings table behind us, right? So now this time I got in a little bit early, set up the cameras, and I managed to set one up at the back of the venue. And I just thought, you know, just so that I could change around. It's probably the best setup I had. And I remember halfway through the set, like all the smoke started to go wrong, you know, or there was just no smoke. And I remember turning around to Scoey, and I was like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Oh, the smoke machine stopped working." And Geffel was trying to fix it. And then I remember, for whatever reason, because they were pressing the button, it's obviously remembered it. And then Scoey's somehow gone over there, giving it a kick. I don't know what he's done, and this thing's just come to life, and it's just gone
overdrive,
mental.
Yeah.
And like, because the fire alarms, you know, obviously the sonars was so long, so the fire alarms was down the end in that office. Now I remember thinking, "Oh, I'm on the back camera, but you can't see anything." Now that should have been the warning, so I just changed it to one that was closer, and then just carried on. remember when we were talking about, because I was going to end on Tony DeVee, The Dawn, and I remember like Craig was like, I'm going to the track before I'm going to play. I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but I remember he was so excited, and it was the best timing you've ever seen. Like literally, I remember Craig just going, "Oh, I'm going to play this like this," and as he's about to literally click on it to do it, literally as soon as he did it, all the power went off.
Imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Right, it's literally all caught on stream, and I remember Chris is behind, and we're like, "Why is all the power gone off?" And then next thing is, like 5 seconds later, all the alarms go off. Lucky
the
enough,
lights come on then,
yeah,
don't they? Like the house lights.
Yeah, and like lucky enough, it was only 15 minutes from the end, so it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't that, but it was just more for us. We were so. I remember you just watched me vividly on the stream, just pick up my car keys and just walk straight out, you know what I mean? At the time I was really annoyed. And I remember Scully just going, sorry, you know, sort of thing.
That's how you know your party's too hard.